Okay, you guys, today what we're going to be doing is going to be applying some rust converter to the bottom of the COOT. And what that's going to do is going to halt the rust from corroding any further. And what that's going to give us is a paintable surface where it's going to just basically stop the rust in its tracks, and we won't have any rust issues here in the future. And then I'll be cutting out a plate that goes on the bottom, and we'll be putting that on there. But first, before I put the two pieces of metal together, I want to make sure to get that rust taken care of. And then I'll probably do some type of a sealer in between the two layers. So let me get you set up, and we're going to be brushing this rust converter on. It goes on one coat and let it dry, and then I think it requires a second coat. And you just brush it on with a brush. You can buy this stuff all over online. About $49 a gallon. So let's get that installed and see how that turns out. Alright, you guys, so we're going to get this put on. It says to not have skin contact with it. Let's see. Don't let it get in your eyes. Avoid contact with your skin. And we're in a well ventilated area. We're going to shake this up and we're going to pour it in here. I think a little bit goes a long way, so we're not going to use a whole lot. Let's see what that does for us. You just want to paint it on pretty liberally, and just allow this to set up. So let's get her put on. Alright, so we got that first coat on there. We're going to go ahead and let this dry. I mean, you can look at that. It's already, boy, it's really darkening up through some spots here. So it's going to turn all that rust black, and it should just kill it right in its tracks. Kind of went down around some pieces here. I mean, I got a lot of cleaning up to do, but a little bit of that stuff went a long way. So that's what she looks like now. We're going to let that dry. We'll come out and do another coat and see what we get. Alright, you guys, the poor old COOT's turned into a workbench. But work means progress. So we've got quite a bit done on the COOT so far. We've got one of the front axles pulled off. That's all sitting right here. Pretty much a mess. The axle tube itself, I had to heat up to get it out. It was kind of stuck in there. We're going to set the camera up and get the other side out on film so you can kind of see that process. Got the plate cut out here. I left these holes bigger around the bolts here, so I'm going to weld in around these. It's not sitting center right now, but I'll be able to weld in around here, and that'll create the waterproof seal. Got my rear axle tubes in work. They're not welded in yet, but what this is 2.5 inch DOM tubing, 20 inches long, and we're using some 3/16 for the flanges. And this is 120 thousandths wall thickness, and the COOT runs a 60 thou wall thickness on a 2.5 inch OD. And so I've had to take and put it on the lathe, and that's going to be the sealing surface that the O-ring goes against on the worm gear inside there. So we got those two done. This one's sitting in there, kind of mocked up in place for now. And floor in the back's all done. We've got the rust preventer stuff on there. What is that? Rust converter we put on. But yeah, it's definitely turned into a workbench here. We took the tires down today, and we got the tires pulled off the beads, and I can get the rims sandblasted. They're right here. And We'll get them all sandblasted out and get a coat of paint on those guys. Those will be black. And there's our tires. The three of them were pretty good. This one you can see inside there. Looks like they tried fixing a flat by using some slime. Might have to put a tube in. Might just put in a tube in all of them. I'm not sure. But let's get you set up on the tripod. We'll pull that other side out. I picked up a 3/8" Ryobi impact driver today. And man, that made the job so much easier. Check out this little guy here. Pretty awesome. Pulled that all off really quick. So let's do the other side. I'll set you up and you can watch that process. We got that side off. Never fails. Get right in the middle of the video and the phone rings and shuts the video off. So these two upper ones are really hard to get to. It's hard to get the wrench on there. They usually just spin. I'm going to try to get those real quick. If I don't, I'm going to set you up and we're going to cut those two off. Get that axle tube pulled out. That one ain't gonna come off, so we're gonna go underneath with a torch and the pipe wrench. We'll get that thing to move and then get it off there. There it goes. There it goes. Oh, shoot. Oh. Alright, that got it. Alright, there it is. Yeah, look at all that stuff in there. Look at that. Spider webs and all kinds of crap in there. Anyway, let's pull those out. We'll see if we can get the axle pulled out of here. We're almost ready to flip it back over. Alright, there it is. Got him out. So there's the two set of front axles. We'll clean those up. And basically that's the steering mechanism on these. And then obviously, you know, there's the axle itself that runs into the gearbox. So we got those two new ones built here. There's our other two flanges for the bearing surface. I got this one here, which is in good shape, needs to be cleaned up. If anybody's looking for one of those for your project, if you're like mine and had one that was bad, send me a message. I can probably get that to you. Yeah, what to do now? What to do? Pull the front bumper off. I might use that to lift it up though, so I might leave that bumper on for now. It's going to be kind of tricky to get that axle out of there. I have to get somebody else to help me hold the wrench underneath of it, and then bust these four nuts. So these right here, I don't know if you can see the washer that's on these. These are brass or maybe even a copper, and they smash down and create a seal. We get those off and we can pull that axle out of there, and we'll get him stood up on the end and start pounding this thing out. Anyway, that's probably going to do it for this video. Next week we'll get this thing stood up and hopefully get this bottom welded on, clear off the workstation, and maybe almost have him ready to send out to rhino lining. We'll see. Okay, you guys, now we're at a good stopping point for this week. We're going to call that it. Got both front and rear axles out now, and all we're left with is the tub. And I can get that jacked up and start cleaning that up, getting that ready for paint. So clean off my mess there. If you like this kind of thing, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and smash that notification button, because I'm going to be doing one of these videos every Friday, or trying to get one out every Friday. We're going to try to go in the house right now and get this one uploaded. So, all right, thank you guys.